WEEN. This story takes place before there were cell phones, in a world that was aware there were human predators, but didn't realize they lived in the neighborhood. A time when trick-or-treating was innocent fun, when Halloween meant dressing up in costumes rather than movie mayhem. A time when legends borrowed from the past mixed with new world traditions and became stories about magic without bloodshed. "We'll be late," Rose said impatiently. "I am not leaving without him," Andrew said, craning his neck to see if he could spot Patrick in the crowds. He was as anxious as Rose was to find him. They'd already missed one bus, and Andrew's dad had told him to be home before dark, which meant he had to be on the next bus. "I have to get into my costume. It takes time," Rose said. "We're going to miss trick-or-treat. We'll miss all the chocolate." "We came together, we leave together," Andrew said. His tone left no room for doubt. He was the oldest, being already 11, 6 months older than Rose and 4 months older than Patrick. "It's just like him to wander off," muttered Rose. Andrew tried to ignore her, something he'd been trying to do all afternoon, long before Patrick got lost. He's probably not lost, Andrew thought. He's just avoiding Rosie the raptor. The good thing about Rose was that she was always figuring out an easier way, a cheaper way, or a more fun way to do something. Rose found out about stuff like this outing. None of the other kids from Heather Bray's school knew about the Halloween fair, because it was across the Rex Glen ravine. The bad thing about Rose was her whining, like now. Andrew wondered, not for the first time, how long it would be before they stopped hanging out together. "If he's not here by the time the next bus," she began. "What about the next bus?" Patrick interrupted, appearing from behind a T-shirt stall. "Where were you?" Rose demanded. Patrick ignored her question and proudly held up a silver charm, fashioned to look like braided rope, knotted and looped into a circle. "Looks like a cheap earring," Rose cracked, belittling Patrick's precious find. Andrew pointed down the road. "There's the bus." Patrick pocketed his charm, and the trio joined the line to board. A standing load of teens, variously dressed for the best traditional costume contest, spewed out of both doors. Frankensteins and mummies, werewolves and Draculas spilled into the fairgrounds. Andrew and Patrick were enjoying this grotesque parade until Rose's boring. Patrick and Andrew pulled out their bus passes and stepped on board. Rose stopped at the doorway, searching for her bus pass. "Step aside, please," the driver said in that imperious tone adults use for children. For a moment, Andrew hesitated when she moved over, thinking it might serve her right if he and Patrick left her there. It was a fleeting thought. He knew he couldn't. They got off the bus, too. The driver let out a sigh, common to parents and shopkeepers alike, for the benefit of the other passengers. "I can't find it," Rose whined. "I had it before you disappeared." She glared at Patrick as if it were his fault. "No problem," Andrew said. "We'll pay cash." But the pocket contents of 3 pairs of jeans didn't add up to what they needed. "My knife is worth a lot. I could trade it," Andrew offered. The army knife he always carried was Andrew's most valued possession, but they agreed it was not something that would likely sway a bus driver. "What about the charm?" Rose suggested. "It looks antique. The driver might like it." Patrick tensed, but said nothing. Andrew knew the charm meant too much to Patrick to trade away. Even so, Patrick made the offer. "Maybe I should," he said, remembering the last time Andrew had been in trouble. "Your dad'll be mad if you're late." Before Andrew could reassure him, Rose offered an alternate scheme. "If I had a pass, I could go home and ask Brad to drive back and pick up whoever stays behind." Patrick thought it sounded reasonable and was about to hand over his pass when Andrew intervened. Andrew knew that Brad, Rose's stepbrother, hadn't spoken to her for weeks and wasn't about to do her any favors. "We came together, we leave together." "With only 2 passes?" Rose said. "We walk, stupid," Andrew said. Calling Rose stupid was guaranteed to make her face go red and shut her up, for a little while. It wasn't as if they'd be going anywhere they didn't know. All summer, Andrew and Patrick had explored every part of the surrounding countryside, following the twisted creek bed through the ravine until it crossed under the Highway 9 bridge, trekking over the hills and through the bush so often that the way home was as familiar as their own street. But today, just walking was difficult for Patrick. During gym class, he had broken a blister on his heel. He didn't tell the others, not wanting to be left alone, as he'd so bravely been about to volunteer a moment ago. Rose looked at the sky. "It'll be dark soon." Andrew detected a tremor in her voice. He knew Rose got jumpy at night. We'll be home before it's full dark, he soothed, if we get going. Rose folded her arms. We should stay where it's safe, she said. Andrew shook his head at her and led Patrick into the woods. The bus belched air and departed. Rose, arms still folded, fell in step behind the boys, smoldering in silence.